All right, guys, you got this. Let's go. Gun right, triple E. Close, let's go. On one, on one.
Ready?
Ready.
What's up, guys? It's Pick'em with HuddleGG, and welcome back to another episode of Ask Huddle. If you guys are new here, this is a series that we do each week where we answer your guys' questions. So if you have a question you'd like answered in a future video, wherever you're watching this, just make sure you leave that in the comment section below, and we will do our very best to get to it. If you don't see it in a future video, you can always join our free Discord by going to HuddleGG/Discord, and we answer all of your questions in there as well. With that being said, again, really appreciate you guys being here, but let's dive into this week's episode. And our first question comes from Hotboy, and they asked, does inside stuff work on edge players, and does no outsiders work on interior players? Now, this is a really good question, and the short answer is yes, but it can actually hurt you a little bit defensively. Depending on the alignment and depending on the way that we are trying to attack what our opponent is doing, right? So I'm going to show you what I mean here. If we come out in a play like Tampa 2, and you're going to see here that this left of screen defensive end, or this edge rusher, has inside stuff on him. Okay, so if they're running an inside run, so inside zone, halfback dive, power, things like that, this guy should win his matchup, again, assuming they don't have special abilities on their offensive line as well, but we should win this matchup one-on-one to the outside. Now, the problem with putting an inside stuff on an edge player is sometimes because of the animation he gets dominating that offensive lineman, he actually plays himself out of where he needs to be. Okay, so I'm going to show you what I mean here. So again, we're just running a simple inside zone, and what you're going to see is he wins immediately, but he wins to the outside, and his leverage actually plays him out of where he needs to be to help us out on this play. Okay, so you see here, again, the guy's not going to block him. I mean, he beats the offensive tackle immediately off the snap, but because he's an edge rusher and they're running an interior run, this actually opens up an easier hole for our opponent to run through. So in general, I would not put inside stuff on your outside guys as regularly as you would your inside guys. Because again, if they are starting outside of that tackle, a lot of times they'll just win to the outside, and they're actually going to, again, open up that hole even more for that running back to get through. Again, they will beat the blocker. So if you had a different formation where he was a little bit tighter in, where let's say he was aligned right here, right? An edge rusher like aligned like head up on that tackle, this would be a lot better situation for us because he's going to be in a much better spot to win to the inside or outside, rather than if he's out here, he's just going to blow by the tackle to the outside. But again, if they're running into the interior of our defense, we don't want that that edge rusher to get as far outside there. So again, I would probably shy away from that on those players when it comes to inside stuff. Now let's look at if our opponent is running an outside run. Okay, so outside zones, stretches, things like that, tosses, that's what we're going to see here. And again, if we put no outsiders on an interior guy, again, he still is going to win that one-on-one. And this is actually a little bit better for us as a defensive player to put a no outsiders on an interior guy, because it forces him outside even quicker, because you're going to see here that that guy can win. So it's going to kind of take away our cutback lane up the middle, right? So if we look at the replay here, again, we want this guy to get blocked, right? He's not playing himself out of the play every time. Now this time, obviously he wins to the inside, but there will be times he wins to the outside. And again, this still really takes away one of our cutback lanes up the middle because he's going to win so quickly to the side that we're running on. Now, if it's on a backside defensive tackle, it's not really going to affect us as much. But if you see here, again, if they're going to run this, like I said, that guy right there on the interior, you can see there how he won to the outside. And he actually did disrupt this play. So I would say if you're looking between these two, no outsiders on an interior player, especially if you have him in the B gap, which is that gap between the tackle and the guard. That's going to be a lot better and more useful for us. As you can see here, he does get that guard beat, and he can actually get that running back before he can get outside. Again, I would use this over the inside stuff on the edge players. I just think with inside stuff on the edge players, like I said, you're going to have your player play himself out of the play more so than you're going to have him help you. So again, I would probably shy away from that one, but no outsiders on an interior player is definitely a good idea. Our next question today comes from Axeman90, and they ask, how do you know what defense your opponent is in? Now, this is a really, really good question. It's a question that we get a lot, but it does have a lot that goes into this. So I won't be able to fully answer this in a video like this, but I will put a link in the description of this video where we have talked a little bit more in depth about this on our YouTube channel this year and in years past as well. You can always go check that out. But we will talk about a few tips that we can look at in understanding what our opponent is in defensively, and understand that we're going to be talking about pre-snap reads here in today's video. To fully understand what defense your opponent is running, you're going to have to learn how to read pre-snap and then also post-snap. But when it comes to pre-snap, the easiest thing to do is if you come out in a spread set like this. So you see how we have two receivers spread out wide to each side of the field. We really want to focus on those outside receivers. Okay, they're going to help us a lot, and we're going to show you why. But the first thing we want to look at is the safeties. Okay, so if you have two safeties deep, you're going to most likely have a cover 2, a cover 4, or a cover 6/cover 9. Right, so that's going to be the majority of coverages you'll see with a too high safety look. Now again, that's not absolute. People can disguise coverages, and there are some one-offs, but in general, cover 2, cover 4, cover 6, or cover 9 are going to be our too high safety looks. Now, what we want to look at after we've identified those safeties is going to be the outside corners. Okay, so you can see the outside corners to both sides of the field here are about 5 yards off the ball, and they're shaded a little bit to the outside of that receiver. That tells us that our opponent is in a cover 2 style defense. Okay, so you see here, they're in a cover 2 defense. Like I said, 5 yards off the ball and shaded a little bit to the outside. That's going to tell us that they are in a cover 2 most likely. Now, if they do audible to a cover 4, we're still going to have the too high safety look. Now, the safeties will come down a little bit and their alignment will be a little bit different. But the easiest way to tell, again, we see the too high safety look. So we're thinking cover 2, cover 4, cover 6, or cover 9. Now we want to look at those outside corners, and you can see they're about 8 yards off the ball and head up on the outside receivers. So again, about 8 yards off the ball, too high safety look. That tells us that they're going to be in a cover 4 style defense. You can see here, it is a cover 4 defense. Now, if we go to something like a cover 6, what you're going to see is now we have one side of the field, the left side, that looks like a cover 4, where we have the outside corner, again, 8 yards off the ball. But now if you look to the right side of the field, we have that cover 2 alignment. Okay, so if you have cover 4 to one side and cover 2 to the other, you're going to get either a cover 6 or a cover 9 style defense, depending on where the strength of the offense is. Again, cover 6, cover 9 are the same defense. This one is flipped. One plays cover 2 to the strong side, the other plays cover 4 to the strong side. So when it comes to those too high safety looks, again, if the outside corners are 5 yards off and shaded to the outside, that's a cover 2 look. If they are 8 yards off and head up on the receiver, that's a cover 4 look. And then if they are, obviously one is 8 yards off and one's 5 yards off, that's going to be more of your cover 6/cover 9 style defenses. Now, the last one we're going to talk about is going to be a cover 3. Now, with the cover 3, you're going to immediately see it's going to be one high safety. Okay, so if your opponent does come out in a one high safety like this, again, you're going to see those corners are still about 8 yards off and head up on the receivers. So similar to a cover 4, but obviously with this cover 3, we now only have one high safety versus the two high safety that we had in cover 4. So again, that's a really easy tell for us. Typically, if they have that one high safety, they're going to be in either cover 3 or cover 1. But like I said, this is just an easy way to tell some of the more popular coverage shells that you're going to face. Like I said, make sure you click on that link in the description for the other video where we really dive deep into this. If you want to have some more answers, we talk about slot cornerbacks because those guys can change based off of different things like quarters and palms. Again, there's a lot that really goes into this, but in general, if you read those safeties and then look at the alignment of the outside corners, it's going to give you a good initial tell of the defense that your opponent is in. Our next question today comes from Anthony, and they ask, how do you like to beat cover 2 man? Now, this is something that we actually get a lot of. Cover 2 man is probably the hardest defense when it comes to man coverage to attack. And we talk a lot on our channel and on our website about different ways that we can attack it. We're going to show you one of our favorite concepts, one of our favorite plays to attack this defense for pretty big yards down the field. And the play that we're going to be going over is actually in, I believe, 11 playbooks in this game. So it is fairly common. And the play is going to be verticals halfback burst out of gun tight open. Now, when we come out in this play, what we want to do is we want to be on a hash if we can. Okay, so we're just going to go to the left hash here and back it up a little bit. And again, whatever hash you're on, you want to run and attack this to the short side of the field. Okay, so you can see here, if we look at the defense, we are in a cover 2 man style defense. And what you're going to see is when we are in this tight alignment, right, this compressed alignment, those outside cornerbacks do not automatically press. And a lot of the times your opponent's not going to think to press them, because if we would go to something like stack Y flex, right, you're going to see that those outside corners are going to automatically press. Our opponent wouldn't have to do anything to do that. So again, a lot of times, again, the majority of people that you're going to play are not going to automatically press their defense because they think they're already pressed, and we're going to use that to our advantage and actually be able to attack down the field with this. So what we're going to do with our setup itself is, again, to the short side of the field, we're going to put the inside receiver on a post, and then on the opposite side, the inside receiver we want to put on a slant. So it's going to look something like this, just to give us some backup routes in case our initial route is not going to be open. And the initial route we're looking for is the X receiver on this wheel down the sideline. Now, the reason why this is so effective is cover 2 man has a natural shade underneath. So these outside, or all the corners that are in man coverage, are going to play super aggressively and play a trail technique. And since he's starting off the ball, he's not able to get a good press. And this actually allows us to blow by that outside corner. So when we go to say hike here, what you're going to see is when that receiver breaks to the side or breaks down the field, we're just going to throw it right there between the safety and the corner. And this is going to be something that you can hit time and time again. It is definitely my most throwed route against a cover 2 man defense. But you see how this outside corner, you see how he jumps down immediately? That's because he naturally has an underneath shade when playing cover 2 man. And again, we're using that to our advantage. As soon as we break down the field like this, as soon as the receiver starts to cut, we can throw this right in between the safety and that corner. And again, if you can get the right angle, you're going to be able to take that to the house for the easy one-play touchdown. Let's run that one more time. Again, what you want to do is you want to put the inside receiver to the short side on a post and the inside receiver to the wide side on a slant. Like I said, those two routes are just in case they switch to the safety or something and take away our X route. What we're going to do is we're going to say hike, and as soon as he bends down the field, we're going to throw that right into that hole between the corner and the safety and get ourselves that easy one-play touchdown. Our last question today comes from Ian Evans, and they ask, how do you beat cover 3 match out of bunch X nasty? Now, when it comes to beating any specific coverage, you're going to want to have a couple of ways to attack it. You're going to want to have something that you can attack underneath with, something intermediate, and then a bomb play. We are going to talk about an easy one-play touchdown that we can use to attack this defense. But in general, if you're facing any kind of cover 3 defense out of a bunch set, if you align the bunch to the short side of the field and run a flood concept, again, a flood concept is going to be something like tight end on a flat, RB on a corner, B on a streak, something like this to the right side. This is really, really easy to use in attacking. We're really going to read between the tight end and the corner route. You can always put the backside receiver on a in as well, or a drag, just to have an extra check down. But we're just going to read the flat defender to the right. If he doesn't cover the flat, we're just going to take that. If they play more aggressively down towards that, we're just going to throw that corner route. Okay, now when it comes to attacking over the top with a bomb, one-play touchdown, we're going to come out in the play motion China cross for this. Now this is going to be nice because we can actually max protect. So if we max protect here, that's going to get our running back and our tight end in the blocking scheme, as you can see there. From there, we're going to motion this receiver to the outside, put him on a comeback, and streak the RB. Now, we are going to be running this with a bunch to the short side of the field as well. So if we've been consistently attacking with that flood concept to the right, now we can flip it, and now we're attacking deep to the left side of the screen. But what you're going to see is when we say hike, we are just going to buy time in the pocket here, wait for that B to get over the top, and you can see that we're going to be able to throw that there and get ourselves that one-play easy touchdown. Again, this is just a simple route combo that you can create out of a lot of different formations in the game. Just understanding the rules of cover 3 match. And what really makes this effective is this comeback will keep that corner down, as you can see, which allows the post to get over the top. And the streak is going to keep the middle of the field safety's attention. So again, this post, this is just a really good post with this play here. Again, opens it up for that wide open throw. Again, you're just going to have to make sure that you have good pocket, but it is a lot easier when we are able to block 7 people in our blocking scheme. So again, make sure you get that blocking set up, get that guy out there, put him on the comeback, and again, open up that easy one-play touchdown over the top.